The 2400 is just what they are.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Yes.
Good morning.
Nice to meet you, Mark. Are you the president? Yeah, good for you.
Also the IT guy.
Okay, good.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. We're your part-time owner too. Actually, neighborhood chill.
Is that right?
Yeah. What do you do here in Singapore?
I work for a nonprofit.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I'm the operations manager. We do domestic violence, sexual assault. Gunning for the executive director. Big interviews tomorrow. Not often are people up here president and then job interviews.
So, it's your company?
Yeah, the former executive director leaves mid-October.
Well, let's see what's going on.
Yeah, thank you. I've got a lot going on.
You do? Where was your home before Singapore?
I grew up in Chicago. But then we spent a year in Houston. I know, but like when we started,
Fathers. Okay. We know Houston pretty well. Oh, like I'm from Arkansas originally.
Okay.
Had sisters that
Should I have a low degree?
It sure is.
Yeah.
I'll take this temperature.
Yeah, we've been on. I've been here a number of times.
Thanks for your help yesterday.
COVID and everything has been a couple of years now.
You got a reservation? I need a lot of
Yeah, this seemed to be a great compliment. Everybody's really happy with how things turned out.
They are. Well, I've been president. I've been over. So
You've been in this.
don't trust this guy.
Stop it. I trust him over you. No, I was going to let you guys fight over it. Arm wrestle about it.
Yeah, I did it last week. No, I did not. I haven't done it for a while.
We have a presentation. Let me show you both. So camera's on. We're streaming now. We're recording. Okay. On air. The presentation's ready to go. The TV's on.
Okay.
It's on black. All you have to do is hit B.
Okay.
And when it goes live, you want to switch B for black.
Oh.
And then that turns it on over here too.
Okay.
Awesome
sauce.
And then when it comes on, it's on camera 4.
Okay.
So we want to switch to camera 4 here.
Okay. So do the presentation. Did you want to do the picture-in-picture thing again? Or?
Yeah, if you can manage it. That's just on.
Just on in that one or whatever, wherever
do
it just stays out of the way.
Online.
Oh,
that's it.
Okay.
So you can see it there.
Cool. Too easy. Then back to B.
And then we're already recording.
On B. Okay. No, you're not.
We're not on B. So. Perfect. I think we went forward a slide. There we go. Perfect.
Cool.
Thanks. The TV was a last-minute request.
I'll be your backup. How's that? In case you go down, I'll
well, and if one of you wants to do the program, the other one wants to do good news, maybe whoever didn't bring cash and doesn't want to talk today can do it for good news.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, fellas. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Sarah. How are you? So we'll have an extra microphone up front.
Okay.
I'll just call you and Win up, and then you can introduce her.
Okay.
And then it's off to the races.
And then,
okay. Presentations.
Good. And I know she sent her presentation to Joan.
Good to go.
Okay.
It's kind of a last-minute adjustment for us in the tent.
Oh, right.
Because they need to roll the screen out, but they're great. So he brought it right out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Too easy.
Perfect.
How are you?
Well, thanks for this.
That's nice. I haven't.
You look awfully familiar, but.
How are you?
Good. Thank you. Do we want to talk about AP today or just save for the board meeting?
Give everybody a heads up about when and how many.
Put you down.
Okay.
Well, I haven't seen you or picked up yet.
They are.
Send me your email.
Oh, I thought you were Molly and Marty were
I am.
Still my final Not funny. Not funny. The word's out, free lunch, and everybody shows up. These are all your guests?
So no, they aren't my I can't afford it. I was coming in style. Oh, that made me work for me. No, he can do that. He's too smart. I know, yeah, right there. He's newer, so newer in the job. He'll be too smart. That's just in fact, someone this morning asked me when was the next board meeting. Oh, really? No. Just want to make was like, you know,
That's gonna be broadcast all over.
I haven't seen.
Oh my God! Stop. So, you know what? If Carrie Shea shows up, we'll ask him.
Is he? Well, he's using the contractor, right, for all of his stuff.
It's his guy. Yeah.
Now, but I thought they were like partners on wireless. I thought they were separate.
All my bills are going through there.
Oh, really?
I didn't get nobody. Stacy was in the one that tried to get me and he ended up going to the library. So, that's like yeah, that's okay. I try to get learned.
Really good? Good. Timing out for some reason.
Okay, so in order to get it back on,
I'll come because I'm not introducing the speaker anyway. Welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. And begin as always with the Pledge of Allegiance. And the four-way test.
The things we think, say, or do, is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you very much. Can I have a greeter help introduce our guests, visiting Rotarians, etc. Who were my greeters today? Jennifer. Jennifer got you just in time. If you are a visiting Rotarian, would you mind standing and making yourself known? Here. Oh, sorry. It'll take a second to warm up. Yeah. Here we go, Liz. Sorry about that.
I'm a visiting Rotarian from Memphis, Tennessee. Part-time owner here at the Steamboat Grand, Bliss Hickey.
Thank you, Bliss. Welcome.
I'm David McLean from Lafayette, Louisiana, Cajun country.
Thank you, David. You're gonna have you cater the next lunch.
Hi, I'm Bill Horning, a guest. My second time here. I just moved to Steamboat about a month ago.
Welcome back, Bill. Any other guests and the members with whom you came? Yes, Karen.
Karen Johnson, this is her 7th meeting. She's filled out her application. Her bio is amazing, so I think we can all look forward to getting to Karen.
Karen's just very thoroughly evaluating the club. Welcome back. Jennifer, over here.
Hi, I'm Angie Gamble. I've been here a few times now and really appreciate meeting with you guys and being a heart for community activities. So thank you.
Thanks, Angie. And then I know, oh, please.
Hi, I'm Joe Champ. This is my 4th meeting. It's great to be here today. Thank you.
Welcome back, Joe. And then I know we've got Roberta and Scott here who have had their 2 readings, but our membership chair is out of the country, and our secretary is not here, so we'll be doing their inductions next week. Any other visitors that we missed? No, thank you, Jennifer. Okay, and I have Karen Schneider as thought for the day.
So good afternoon. The thought for the day today comes from one of my books, Practice Aloha, Secrets to Living Life in Hawaiian Style. To me, this book shares the Hawaiian culture, which also has a very subtle tie to our Rotary motto of service above self. Today's thought ties to community and a suggestion for how to deal with future growth. It's called Aloha in Everyday Life. And it was written by the mayor of a small town in Maui. As a child growing up on Maui, I learned early on the importance of aloha in everyday life. Neighbors shared their harvest, and friends were always eager to lend a hand. Even complete strangers would not blink an eye at dropping everything they were doing to help somebody in need. Taking care of one another wasn't something that was taught in school, it was simply a way of life. It was a natural outpouring of kindness, generosity, and goodwill. Now that our island's population has grown and changed in so many ways, it's especially important to continue to practice aloha in our community. Have a great day.
You guys got all your stuff. Thank you. I just can't wait for her to be president. Yeah, Oz, come on. Thanks, bitch. Okay. We're going to do the surprise Steamboat Minute again. I'm going to run through the roll alphabetically until somebody's here. Ed Albright, did you make it today? Brett Allison, boom. We reintroduced the Steamboat Minute 2 weeks ago. Your last name starts with A. So you're going to come up here and talk for 30 seconds about yourself. And, if you like, your business. But I'm going to be really strict about the timing.
All right, this is new to me. I'm completely unprepared, but my name is Brett Allison. I was born in Long Island, New York. Lived there till I went to college. Met my beautiful wife. First day of school in New Hampshire. Moved to Colorado in '91. And had my career in Denver, Colorado, well, all of Colorado really, but moved up here about 5 years ago with our wife, started over, opened one insurance company, Allstate Insurance here in town, and then we recently increased
Oh, I'm sorry you're out of time.
Thank you.
Ellen would be so proud of me. Thank you, Brett. And I know Joanna's not here, so we can't call on her.
I'd like a 10-second buzzer next
Cam Boyd, I saw you. Come on up. It's your turn for the Steamboat Minute, which is really the Steamboat 30 seconds, but it takes everyone so long to get up here that put your time in yourself. You don't want the gong?
All right. Okay. Cam Boyd. I moved here in 1985. Went to CU. Grew up in Dayton, Ohio. Started in real estate. Started Steamboat Sotheby's about 20 years ago, and just sold the company about a month ago. So I'm now just back to being a broker. I have 2 kids, 24 and 22. I'm married, and I live out by Scott Mall.
Nailed it. Thank you, Cam. Perfect. And now, without any further ado, people are probably wondering why half the fire department is here today. Susie, Lobsterfest, would you like to?
I'm feeling very sick.
Thank you.
So we wanted to let everyone.
Hello?
We wanted to let everyone know how much money we made throughout County Crisis Support during Lobsterfest, and I wanted to thank everyone who helped with it. It really took the whole club to pull this off, and we were able to raise just under $65,000 for.
I think they wanted to say something. Sorry, I know it's your favorite thing to do.
Thanks, Heather. Getting back to that one. I will speak for Molly Lotz, our executive director at Rock County Crisis Support. Thank you. I don't have, when I talk a lot, I cry about this stupid thing. So I am just, thank you, Rotary, for adopting us and believing in our nonprofit, because we sure do.
Thank you, Molly. And now I just wanted to get that out of the way because I know a lot of them are in a truck right now, so if they get called, they're going to have to disappear. So now we'll move on to announcements. Jillian, I think, would like to go first. She's very anxious to talk about an upcoming initiative. And she wore her themed pants today.
I was not anxious. I just thought that was like kind of climactic and wanted to go before that. We're putting together some fellowship dinners. So the first one is going to be on October 13th at Primrose. I don't have all the details yet, but what we agreed on when we met with them was the food portion was going to be $50. I think it's going to be a lot of appetizers and kind of mixing, and opportunity to go out and just chat with people. Spouses, partners are welcome, encouraged to bring them. And then it'll be a cash bar. So $50 will be the dinner, and if you want alcohol, that will be extra. I'm going to pass around a sign-up sheet. It says your name and how many. Like, how many? Is it just you, or are you bringing somebody else would be the answer to that? October 13th. Wednesday evening.
Thank you. Tara?
Just a reminder that we're currently accepting applications for our Rotary Grant round. Applications are due October 1st to be considered. So if you guys are associated with any nonprofit or know of them doing projects, please have them go to our website, steamboatrotary.com, and apply for a grant. The other thing I wanted to say is the grants committee is getting together to determine where this grant's going, and if you're interested in being on the grants committee, send me an email, give me a shout. We'd love to have you.
Thanks, Tara. Let's see, Chancy still needs a volunteer to drive flower barrels down to Vernal, over to Vernal. Her biggest concern is making sure they all leave the barn before the snow comes. So if you have a truck and are willing and able, let her know. If you have a truck and are not willing and able, let her know. And if you are willing and able and don't have a truck, let her know. So, thank you. Let's see. Winnie, is this AP?
AP International Committee.
Well, why don't you both come up then? We'll kill two birds with one stone.
Howdy, y'all. We need to have an international committee meeting, so I'm looking at next week. If you are interested in joining the international committee to talk about all the cool stuff we can do not in the United States of America, please let me know and I'll make sure you get an invite to the meeting. And really cool, Chris is going to talk about AP.
Hello, everybody. Ooh, that's a hot mic. So, January 14, 15, 16, and 17, Martin Luther King weekend, we are planning on sending a delegation to Agua Prieta, Mexico, to revive the annual trip that got put on hold this year. So there'll be more information coming, and we're looking forward to seeing our friends in Agua Prieta once again. We got a lot of grant money from the district to fund a couple of projects down there. I think it's we got a total of 5,000 and we put up 5,000. So we've got made some real headway in the school, the preschool down in Front Terrace. Yeah, Winnie reminded me that we may not be bringing high school students because there's a border crossing involved, and if somebody gets sick in Mexico, they won't let them back into the United States. And you could probably bring your own kid, but somebody else's probably not a good idea. Anyway, we'll flesh that out.
Yeah, I'm glad Winnie was there to back you up. Thank you both. And that is it. I know you guys have heard, oh no, wait, Cam's got something. Darn it, sorry. Not darn it that Cam has something to share.
Doggone it.
I'm really trying to be on time this week. I failed miserably last week.
So yeah, big day for me. I get to be up here twice. So for those of you that are new to Rotary Club, every year we pass out dictionaries to the third graders here in Routt County. And these are, the club buys these and we pass them out to every third grader. We have the schools that we go to, include them all: Strawberry Park Elementary School, Soda Creek, Emerald Mountain, Hayden, Sirocco or South Routt, North Routt, the Mountain Valley Montessori, and new this year we have the Sleeping Giant School. And so what we do is we get a group of Rotarians together, go to each school, and we put these nice stickers inside the books. So I'm going to pass these books around so you can take a look at them. But it's a 4-way test that we put inside the book, and it's kind of an introduction to the kids of who Rotary is. And it's a fun thing to do. I'm going to pass around the sign-up list. You can put your names on there. For those of you that are on a Zoom call, you can contact me through Club Runner, and I'll put you on the list. And the goal is to try to get these out by Thanksgiving this year, and give the kids some time to spend and learn them. And there's just a lot. It's not just a dictionary. There's a whole bunch of things in here. Encyclopedia, and talk about all the different countries and about the planets and things like that. So I'll pass these around. Please sign up if you haven't done it before. Put your name on there. If you have done it before and you want to be a leader or captain, put your name on there as well, and then we can have you guys contact the rest of your team, figure out a date to take them to the school that works for everybody. It probably takes all of a half an hour to do, because usually it's just one class per squad there, or 2 classes. So have fun with it. It's your gift to the 3rd graders. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Thanks, Cam. Sorry about that. So yeah, be sure to sign up for that. Are there any other announcements before I try and move along? Great. Don't forget that pickleball starts next week, Thursday. Call the Pickleball Center to sign up. What was our price on that again?
$7, and we have all the equipment.
$7, and you don't need to bring anything, but you can bring your own beverages, should you so choose. With all that being said, I would now like to introduce Sarah Loughran, who's going to introduce our guest speaker for the day.
Thank you. I would like to introduce Wynn Cowman, the Waste Diversion Director at Yampa Valley Sustainability Council. Wynn, you can come on up. Wynn's been working on management of waste materials and waste diversion for over 20 years, both here in the Yampa Valley and in many rural communities around the state. She also volunteers her time to Water Engineers for Americas and Africa, traveling to Ethiopia to review spring protection projects, bringing much needed water to remote communities. You've undoubtedly heard the terms reduce, reuse, recycle as ways to cut down on the amount of waste generated, reduce greenhouse gases, and generally take better care of the planet. Today, Wynn is going to focus her presentation on a particular kind of waste that also needs to be reduced, reused, and recycled, and that is food waste. So I'm going to turn it over to Wynn, and please give her a nice welcome.
Thank you, Sarah. Does this work? Yes. So hopefully you guys can see the screen over here. As Sarah mentioned, I'm going to be talking about composting. Sarah wanted me to come and talk about food waste generation and composting, which is something that we finally have back in the Yampa Valley. We finally have an option to compost again. As some of you may remember, back some years ago, Twin Enviro Services was composting. That went away, but now we do have an option for that back in the Yampa Valley. So.
There it is.
So this is a slide that I took from ReFed, which is an organization that does a lot with food waste, and it gathers a lot of the information about how much food is wasted. That's what's represented up here. You can see that about 20 billion pounds of food waste a year comes from farms, 50 billion from consumer-facing businesses, which are further broken down below that in yellow. Manufacturers produce about 2 billion tons of food waste a year, and homes about 54 billion. So the majority of our food waste
In our compost bin, like we don't put in meat products and those types of things. Are those things suitable for home composting, or does it require more of an industrial stream for composting to break those down?
Yeah, so I have heard, and so it depends on which system you have, but typically that is correct. The home composters, which tend to be smaller composters, don't accept the meats and those items. So, but the commercial systems are larger. You have more of a thermal mass to heat up, and so those items are acceptable in a commercial composting facility, but maybe not necessarily in your home composter. And home composters vary. I did go online and look at some of the options that are out there. They're all variable. It depends on what you have, and certainly if yours says don't put those items in it, then I would not put them in there.
Well, and part of our concern is they don't attract bears.
Right, and that is a big concern.
Just a follow-on question. Does YBSC, and I'm on the board of YBSC, so I should know this, but do we have any instructions or guidance for households regarding household composting that we can apply?
Yeah, not that, I mean, I do think that we have data that we have put out over previous years. I have not specifically since I've been, and Wendy's mentioning that the extension office probably has that information. It's something that I think that is in our wheelhouse, and certainly we would look to put on our website, but currently that's not on our website. And I am happy, I put my email address on that first slide if anyone wants to reach out with questions. If I can help, I'm happy to help.
So are you finding the restaurants are interested in doing this with you, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, so I mentioned that we're about to start focusing on restaurants. We don't have a ton of restaurants. We have a couple of coffee shops. We have Dusky Grouse and Off the Beaten Path on board right now. I think that this facility got started up during COVID, and restaurants obviously were shut down in the middle of COVID. So, and then post-COVID, it's not been an easy time for restaurants either. So we don't have a lot of restaurants currently, and we are looking to get 10 restaurants on board. We have some funding from the Sierra Club to do composting for 10 restaurants, and we're actually going to fund that composting for a period of, I think, 3 months, just to get them rolling and to encourage them to participate, basically. And then the hope would be that at the end of that 3-month period, they would see the benefits. I think that not only are there environmental benefits, but there are economic benefits in that when you're pulling that food waste out of your trash, they should be able to have trash pickup less frequently than they currently have. And so hopefully we're going to show the economic benefits of composting through this 3-month study as well.
So what does it cost to compost then for either like a consumer or a restaurant?
Yeah, so the commercial depends on all the factors such as how how it's going to be picked up, how frequently, but the residential is pretty straightforward. And basically you get a bucket. It's a $25 a month fee to sign. It's a subscription service that you go online to IRC's Innovative Regeneration Colorado's website and sign up. It's a $25 monthly subscription. And one of the things that I will say that YBSC is focused on is, currently it is a subscription-based service, right? And one of the things that we would really like to see is that everyone has composting available to them, not just the people who are super interested in it and those who can afford to pay $25 a month, but we'd love to see it integrated into our waste management system here in the Valley so that it's included. It's just like recycling. It's what we do. So that is a goal. Yep. Yeah, so City Market is one of IRC's customers. So they are giving us all of their produce. We decided not to take meats from them just initially because we figured they would have massive bones or, so we started with just produce. And those materials currently actually are not being composted. They're being taken to a swine farm to feed pigs. And that, EPA has a hierarchy of what to do with food waste. And the first thing on their hierarchy is to feed people. And so that would be, I'm up here talking about composting, but certainly if we can take these foods and feed people, any of the pre-consumer food, right, that is coming out of a grocery store, say, ideally you would feed people. Then next down is to feed animals. And then just below that would be, I can't remember, like technological composting, which is like where you produce gas and energy out of breaking down the food waste, and then composting. So and then landfilling would be below composting. So, yep.
Sorry. Can you buy compost, or if you are into the subscription, can you go and get some of the compost?
Yeah, so all the members who sign up for the subscription service do get a compost dividend in the spring of each year. IRC had only been composting for about 6 to 9 months this spring, so there wasn't, and as many of you probably know, compost takes 6 to 9 months to make. So we didn't have enough this spring to distribute it to all the members, but next spring that will happen. And compost facilities are regulated, so there's also testing that goes on before it can be distributed. So you need to have enough of the material that makes it makes sense to pay the $500 to have it tested before distributing it.
Where is the facility?
The facility's in Pittsburgh, so it's over sort of, I think, is it Union Pacific? The train, it's over by iDesign in Pittsburgh, Colorado.
I was wondering about milk cartons, plastic, paper, or wax paper stuff. Ice cream cartons, are those?
They're not something that we would take at the compost facility, at the commercial compost facility. Do they break down over time? Probably. But in the time that you are trying to get things to process at a commercial facility, that waxy coating causes problems, and those materials don't break down quickly enough to be beneficial for a compost pile. So, yeah.
I know at Christmas time we always recycle our tree by taking it over to the ice arena and then they compost it. Is that part of your organization, or is that done by someone else?
That is done by the city, and I think that you guys you allow residents to come take that material for your yards and whatnot. But I will say that, we had that big storm last fall, or I can't remember exactly what time of year, but all those trees that went down, the city did work with us on that project, and quite a bit, people were allowed to take those materials over to the rodeo grounds. The city has a grinder, they ground them up, and they did allow, again, residents to come get that material, but they also brought quite a bit of it to our facility so that we had plenty to get us through the winter as well.
I know we're talking about composting. Can I ask you a question about recycling?
Sure.
What's happening with our recycling? Is it being recycled?
Winnie wants to answer that question.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
The city is doing a recycling study. We have a consultant that has done existing conditions and is looking at where all of our recyclables are going. A lot of what we are recycling is being recycled, but there's some plastic products that aren't because there isn't a market for it. And so one of the things that we're looking at is whether, because right now we have single stream and you can do plastics 1 through 7, despite the fact that really only plastics 1, 2, and 5 actually get recycled. And so the question that we are wrestling with is, do you reduce what you take to recycle, because then you know it's all being recycled, or do you just try to make it easy for people by allowing them to put anything in there? And then the other issue is, how much contamination can you have? So everything in there could be a recyclable item. It's just that if it's contaminated, meaning you've got some non-recyclable items in there, like the trash bag that you use to collect your recyclables, then all of a sudden the entire load is contaminated and they can't process it. And so contamination is a big issue as to whether or not your recycled items can actually be recycled.
When will we see the results of that?
We are going to be in front of City Council with initial results in November, and then we're going to be looking at revising our recycling ordinance so that we can improve what we're doing in January and February. Right now, the city only requires single family and duplexes, residential, to recycle, so the trash haulers have to provide the recycling containers. And we are looking at best practices, which would include having some required recycling for multifamily and commercial, but we're not sure what that would look like. And then second thing, and then our follow-on study at the city is going to be on organics recycling or composting, to really look at that 30% of our waste stream that is organics, and really what, as a community, we might want to do to address those.
What do you do with styrofoam?
Currently, we don't have an outlet for styrofoam here in the Yampa Valley. It's not being recycled, that has to go in the landfill.
And when this is recycled also, but I've heard that glass actually is not being recycled now.
Yeah, it is. For a while it was not, but as of late it is being recycled. Glass is an interesting item here in Colorado. There's lots of things to look at in regards to it, but it is recycled. It is one of the items that is actually recycled in Colorado if you can get it. It's expensive. Glass is heavy, so it's expensive to transport it to the Front Range. So that's really the barrier that you have to get over in order to be able to recycle glass. But it's a great thing if we can make it happen, because it's one of the only items that we can actually recycle here in our own state. And I will say that about composting too. I don't think I mentioned this, but that's a truly circular system, is recycling food waste, because it actually stays right here. We eat it right here. We keep our waste right here, and then we create something out of it. It's a very little transportation is involved, as opposed to, say, recycling, where you've got to ship those materials long distances to keep them in the system. Paul?
Just one other point. I read recently that the states of Vermont and Oregon have passed state laws which are putting the burden on the producers of plastic to cover the cost of recycling or disposal of those plastics. And I understand that Colorado has a legislation that's being considered along the same lines. Do you know the status of that, or anything about it?
Yeah, so they just did a literature review. That's what they call producer responsibility. So what Paul was talking about is, instead of putting the cost of recycling on the consumer, this puts the cost of recycling on the producer. So you're paying for recycling up front when you buy the product, rather than having to figure out how to pay for it at the back end. And the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment just did a literature review on extended producer responsibility, and they're in a stakeholder process to sort of look at next steps based on what their findings were from the literature. So it's on the agenda.
Did you say, and I apologize if I missed it, is there a market locally, like through the ag community, for composting to enhance their soil?
Yeah, we have more, well, we haven't produced any compost to date, right, because of how long it takes to produce it. But we have people asking for it constantly. We have people emailing us, calling us constantly. I know in other communities where they compost, they can't
produce it fast enough to keep the community, to meet the community needs. So there's no trouble getting rid of compost. It's in demand out there. So.
I have a follow-up to that point about the law. Did you say that the producer pays for it or the consumer pays for it?
The producer.
Okay. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the way our systems are currently set up is that we have to figure out how to pay for it on the tail end. And so producer responsibility is designed such that the producer has to think about that when they're producing the product. And that, incentivizes them to make the materials recyclable and not end up in a landfill. So. And puts the cost on them. Because right now, one of the problems with recycling is coming up with how do we pay for it. Recycling is not free. That was one of the biggest mistakes that we made in the United States when we started recycling, was saying it's free. There's nothing free about recycling. It costs money to do it. So.
Thank you so much, Wynn.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That was very informative. I've always had questions about composting. Great, Matthew, let's keep the recording going for the online folks who apparently were not online. So it's the Wi-Fi out here. I think we'll just have to address that next time. But let's keep recording for good news, and we'll only share it within the club. But now it's time for good news. Do I have any volunteers? Because I've got someone in mind for running good news. If you want to play roulette with me, we can do that. Winnie, I don't think we've heard quite enough from you today. Would you like to do good news with us?
Sure.
Thank you.
Let's start at my table. It's going to kick us off well.
All right, for those who are visiting our club, good news is something we do. We do not have fines unless, of course, your phone goes off, Jim. But we do share good news and put money into the pot, and the money in the pot goes to scholarships for our seniors, high school seniors. So I'll start right here.
There you go, Winnie. Thank you. I just stood up and looked at my table, and if you want to see food waste, come and look at my place safe. I'm the messiest eater at any table I'm at, and today's no exception. There's probably some on the floor too.
Anyone?
Thank you, Winnie. I hooked up the camper and rolled down to Buena Vista this weekend. Absolutely incredible weekend. There's a music festival down there celebrating the release of Billy String's new album. And from the weather to the site and the location, this private ranch that gave you this beautiful panoramic views of the collegiates, to Scotty Stoughton and Bonfire Entertainment for their production, and of course, Billy Badass, 2 nights of Billy.
It's really interesting. I've been looking online at van life stuff because I really want a camper van, and every single one of the rentals does not allow you to go to a music festival.
Jim Nowak. For 35 years, I never had my phone go off, and now this is twice in 2 months.
Flip it, Jim.
This table? Anyone at this table? Lovely day we have down here. I'll just go around.
Loretta Conway, I'm just happy it's fall and I'm enjoying the weather.
All right.
Put me down for $10. We had a wonderful evening last night. Jim and I drove down to Denver and saw the Doobie Brothers 50th tour with Michael McDonald, and it was like going back in time. That band grew up kind of in San Jose, California, where I was raised, and they played at my sister's junior high graduation. So it was really cool to see them 55 years later. Karen Schneider.
Angela Catterson. I'm putting 20 bucks in. One, I'm picking up my mom this Friday at the airport. Yeah, first time since COVID. Just super fun homecoming last week with the kids. The boys ended up tying their game, unfortunately, on Thursday. They played Battle Mountain this Thursday. They lost 2-1 last time, so hopefully they'll pull it off. And I just gotta give a shout out to Wynn Kalman, because I feel like it's old time week. I mean, I got Chuck Sarasoli here, Wayne Kalman, we're missing Rex Bryce, but like, we used to all like party together, and before kids, we were on the cocktail league for softball, and it's just so fun being at home week again.
Take money out and say. Speaking of, let's go on the music theme this week. One thing of empty nesting is, what I've learned the hard way is when you go to a festival, your bride always says, well, what about the kids? And then they talk to the son who can come, and then his girlfriend can come, and his girlfriend's parents come, and then the other boyfriend wants to come. Actually, it's our son. So I don't even want to talk about the Aspen Snowmass Festival, but seeing Eric Church was unbelievable, Maren Morris, and then Jimmy Buffett was a fill-in, if you can imagine that. So it was a great weekend with my two oldest boys, 26, 24, their girlfriends. Now the real problem is, we liked it so much, now we gotta go see Eric Church, which is in in 2 weeks down in Denver. So if anybody knows some leads on Eric Church tickets, let me know.
Your name? That was PJ Wharton. All right, so I'm flashing to Coley. I'm getting this a lead up, like it's a crescendo, Holly. Carrie Shea. A lead up to a Sprinter van doing Billy, having a good old time. And to you guys, like probably more of like a 1979 Ford Eco line conversion, a little bit different kind of setup there, but I'm sure equally as fun. Kick off to the hockey season. We are right in full force here. Last weekend, actually, I got asked to coach a U14 AA, my daughter's travel team, which is a collection of all the mountain associations from Telluride to Vail, Aspen, Steamboat. We had our first showcase this past weekend. It's a U14 team that we've got girls that are 11, actually up to 14. 2 ties, 2 wins, great collection, very talented girls. And then this week we're actually kicking off the tryouts for the Steamboat Springs Youth Hockey Association, so more updates forthcoming for the season. So here we go.
It's exciting to have the season kick off. Okay, anyone over here? A whole table of, oh yay, there's somebody.
Hi, yeah, I'm Angie Campbell. Billy Strings event was awesome. That was wonderful this weekend, such a good spirit about it. But a couple of weeks ago I shared that I had been able to raise enough money to go to this event in DC, a Native American Day of Prayer, and also to support the live streaming for it. But I was able to go to that event and it went really well. And it's the 6th year that they've put it on. It's a day of prayer for Native people where they get together and pray for their communities and for the country. And they started it to also speak out forgiveness to the country and the government for everything done against them over the years. A pretty powerful thing. And they really come with a good heart about it. But this year, something new there was something called the Apology Project. Because within the field of reconciliation, which is what I work with, they say it takes 1 to forgive, but 2 to reconcile. And reconciliation is also what helps bring healing to the land. Even droughts can be solved through that. Historically, it has been shown as well. But former Senator Brownback came and shared about an apology that Obama had actually signed into law during his presidency, but it had never really been made public. So they put together some wonderful videos about this, and they want this presidency to get together in the Rose Garden and actually make it public. But you can go to theapologynow.com to look up more about it. They've made 2 wonderful videos about it. And I think it's interesting timing also. This week we're having some of the Ute dances at the community center tomorrow evening. So I'd recommend everyone to go to that. I think this kind of thing applies to our land as well. But there's a really neat story in North Carolina where they got together to have an apology event to the native people of that land, and it broke a drought that they had been having for years there. So yeah, I believe there's more to come with all of this, but I just wanted to share about having gone there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Putting 5 in Ange for 5 kid-free days. It was really nice. And a friend of mine flew in from Indiana who went to Palisade for 5 days, stayed at the Spoken Vine. Jody Corey, our former member, says hello. They're doing fantastic. They bought a cafe. They're fostering a kid. She's doing a huge project in Grand Junction. She's got a lot going on. And we were able to hike in Colorado National Monument and in Palisade, and then drove to Denver for a Red Rock show. And we live in the coolest state ever. And I'm really glad we live here though, and not on I-70, because that corridor was 5.5 hours of really fun driving. Tara Weaver.
This is just for Jillian for you. Jillian left early. Okay. I'm putting in 10, Carol Johnson, and I spent the weekend in the mountains also. It was not at a music festival, and it was not even in Colorado mountains, but was in the Wasatch Mountains in Utah. My stepdaughter got married over at Solitude Resort, if any of you have been there. I haven't been there since I was about 8, so it's changed a lot. But it was absolutely phenomenal. The weather was like it was here. Beautiful. It was a beautiful wedding. Wonderful family get together on both sides, and got some hiking in, and even made the after party. So I was up till 1, which is too late for me. But it was a fabulous weekend.
So I've got for Susie Wilkinson leaving early. And then I'm Roberta Smith, and I just wanted to share this past weekend, my husband and I volunteered for the high school mountain bike league races, and we were down in Eagle, and talk about an event that restores your faith in humanity. These kids are amazing cyclists, and I was sweep for one of the races, for the women's races, and one of the gals that I followed, she made the cutoff for the first lap with 4 minutes to spare, and she didn't think she'd make it, so then she kept riding, and I was encouraging her and getting her to finish, and it was her first mountain bike race ever. She was super excited, wants to do it again. It was just a great event. So those mountain bike racers are really good kids.
They work hard.
Thank you. I'm Andy Wallace. In honor of Reduce, Reuse, and Recycle, I've got some hotel furniture that I would love to sell you on that we started a renovation at the Holiday Inn, so if you want to reuse some hotel furniture, let me know. But really the reason I wanted to stand up today was, just like Roberta said, I also had my faith in humanity restored. I don't know if anybody watched the Cowboys game last night, but go Cowboys!
Hi, I'm Paul Hebert. Thanks, Wynn, for your presentation. It was really great. Some useful information for all of us. Mei-Ling and I have been away for a couple of weeks. We had a trip to the San Juan Islands in New York. I'm sorry, in Washington State. We visited an old college graduate school friend on Lopez Island, and then joined 2 other steamboat couples for a week of sailing in the San Juans. And I must say, we did break the law twice. We sailed across into Canadian waters. We went like this, and we went back, and then we went again, and we came back, and we weren't caught. So, anyway, it was a lovely week. A lot of rain, unfortunately, and so it was really great getting back to Colorado and our wonderful fall weather here.
It is absolutely gorgeous. All right, do we have anyone else at this table? Okay, perfect.
Back on the concert theme, my wife and I went and saw the Eagles concert at Ball Arena, and we had bought the tickets for her birthday a year and a half before, but then of course everything got shut down, and so finally we got to see it. It was a great concert performance. They
they still sound super. And then the other thing I'm happy about is it's officially fall, and I finished all my outdoor landscaping projects. My new patio, my 3 raised beds, the landscaping around that, and so now I can sit back and enjoy life.
It's perfect. It sounds like winter is ready for you. All right, anyone else at this table? Anyone, anywhere?
I'm Hazel Hoff, and where is she? I want to thank Wynn making waste diversion so sexy. And Paul and Sarah and just everyone at YVSC. They really do an amazing job, really working super hard for our community. And these are bridges, and I want to say, like, some of you know I have a horse named Donkey, and an hour and a half ago I was galloping through the fields of Sydney Peak, jumping little jumps with my horse named Donkey, like literally can't believe I get to live here and have this life.
Okay, do we have anyone else? Over here, one last table.
Hi, I'm Michelle Garner, and we compost in the Garner House with the Feed for Seed program, and we're big fans. And the perk, if anybody's kind of thinking about doing it, the perk that we didn't expect is, well, one, we're very aware of our food waste right now, but two, it takes that stinky trash issue completely out of your house. So I'm a huge fan. I'll always do it, and it's $25 a month, so I'm putting $25 in there.
Awesome, awesome.
Heather Martin, here you go, Wendy. And yes, fall is just so amazing, isn't it? It's so beautiful here. Thank you, Wynn, so much for your presentation. Really enjoyed that. I love composting myself, and we'll get back into it someday when I have that house that I keep saying that I'm really building. I got to sit in a little bit of Denver traffic also. My husband and I went down. He has a childhood friend who was having a 25th wedding anniversary party, and it was a formal, gowns and tuxedos, and my husband refuses to wear a tuxedo, but he'll go to the opening of an envelope. So we didn't tell them, we surprised them in our best costumes, and it was a bunch of Denver people that were very formal, and we walked in with, we were about a level 9 and they were about a level 3, and we may not have made the best impression, but we had a really good time, and I stayed up past my bedtime. Just big deal.
I'm Jeff Steck, and put me down for 40 because this is my first day out of quarantine. Wife, 3 kids, all had COVID, and we're all done with it now, so it's an exciting time.
All right, good news. I think that's it, unless we have anybody that's online that has good news.
No, nobody's online right now.
Okay, there we have it. Thank you.
Thanks, Winnie. Can I have that microphone back?
Please.
You just want to, this one's so much better. Keep going. Thank you again. Thank you again to Wynn and YVSC and all the great work you do. We're all lucky to have you in our community. Thanks to our guests for joining us, Visiting Rotarians Bliss, David, thanks for joining us again. Guests, Bill, Karen, Angie, I'm going to try and find you as I say it. Joe, God, I'm going back and forth. There you are. And Keith, you snuck in again. You keep snucking. I blame Marcy for it, because he's always sneaking in late, and he's always here with you. But we see you. Thanks for coming. And Scott and Roberta, we have not forgotten you. Next week, we'll get you in. Thanks so much, everyone. Next week, our very own Bill Leeson is taking part in our program. So he's got a really cool video for us to share. And let's see. Monday, October 11th is our next board meeting at the Ag. Let me know if you plan to join us. And thank you again to Matthew Rochon for your technical assistance today. That's all. See you all next week. Right back here in the tent.